Hey YouTube, it is the wax painter here, AJ. I'm going to show you today how to make shapes using ordinary balloons and with your wax. I have recorded this video so many times, and I have to tell you that I have popped several balloons and it caused the wax to, I guess you would say, atomize or vaporize, and it got all over the studio. After much trial and error, I'm going to show you how it is done. So I have on here an old pot from my kitchen. Please remember, any pot that you use or anything from your kitchen after you use it in the art studio, it needs to stay in the art studio. I had a big piece of wax that was tinted that looked like this, and it's been melting here for quite a while. It was a lot to melt down. I have my temperature fairly low. I don't want my wax to be super hot because we want it to cool fairly quickly. A few other things, and this was from trial and error. When I blow up my balloon, every time I put it in the hot wax, physics, my balloon is going to keep expanding. So what was happening was, my balloon, I had blown up too much. It kept expanding to the point that it just popped, and there went wax all over everything. My hair, my eyelashes, all over the studio. I'm sure I breathed some of it in. So trial and error. So a few things. Whatever object that you're blowing up, you can't blow it up to full size. These are just from the dollar store. My wax, I don't want it to be super hot. I have my tray. I melted it down. I had my hot plate at 200. After it was totally melted down, I lowered it, and it's in the area of my, I don't know if you can see over here. Ooh, let's see if we can move the camera. Over here on my thermostat that reads warm. So my wax is pretty warm. I don't need it super hot for this. I don't want it super hot because I need to have a cooling process. So as you can see, I've made a few, and they're hardening, and I'll show you. So we're going to blow up a balloon. This is like the hardest part for me. I'm not blowing it up super big. I'm going to tie it off. Now, if I want to make something that's consistent in the same size, I can take a Sharpie marker, and I'll show you, and I can mark around, so when I'm dipping, because you're going to have to make a few dips, I'm always in the same spot. And also, if I want to make several of the same size, I'll have a reference point. Okay, really simple. You're going to feel when you put your wax in, you're going to feel the balloon expand. It's normal. The air in the balloon is now heated up. It's going to expand. So you'll feel the expansion and contraction. So I dip and I pull straight out. And I have a nice light coating. I need this to cool. If I put this back in right away, all it's going to do is melt this off and put on another coat. So I'm going to take this one here that's already cold, because I put a few layers on, and I'm going to dip again. Okay. I probably dipped this about 6 times already. You will feel the balloon expand, so don't panic. What I had to do in between, and you'll also see this. Let me move the camera over here. When you go to put this down, it's kind of like a weeble. They roll around. So don't panic with that. Let's put this back. For those of you, some people had asked, what do I use to mount for the camera? Well, first of all, I'm using an old Samsung phone of my husband's. I'm a Mac user, and I really don't like this. In fact, I don't even think I can download like Instagram on this. Anyway, I use an Archon mount. They are so worth the investment. I use it for so many things, even just to hold my phone to be like hands-free at my desk. Okay, so this is the one we first dipped. It's somewhat cool. We're going to cool again. You can see there's more on there. And like I said, I can feel this expanding. So I get a little nervous. So a great way to cool these down quicker is put them, if you have the AC on, if you're in a cold climate, you can probably put them outside, put them in the refrigerator. Okay. So this one I made earlier, it's really thick. When I went and I did this the first time, or the first few times, what I did was, first I had coated the balloon in some cooking oil, thinking it would make a smoother surface, which it did. See that? It's nice smooth on the inside. And this one is not. But I found that it really wasn't necessary. Here's another one without, and they're about just as smooth. Okay. So, how do I get this off? Well, I can easily pop the balloon, but I have my dog here, and she's a foster dog. I don't know her reaction. Well, she's not a foster dog anymore because I failed. So I basically am pushing the balloon in and getting it off. But I probably will end up just breaking it. I just don't want to startle the pup. Plus, I don't really want to break the balloon because I want to make another one in this size. So if I break the balloon, then I kind of lose my mold. So I just, patience. Remember, painting with wax, as we know, is all about patience. So there I go. I got it off. This line was the original line I had drawn with my Sharpie marker, so it took it off. I don't worry about it. But now you're saying I have this really uneven, ragged edge. Well, that's easy to fix. You can just put it like I just did. Just put it on my hot plate really quickly and I'll get a cleaned up edge. And if I need to clean it up some more, I can just roll it on the edge. Remember, it doesn't need a lot of heat. And there I got my shape. And I can decide, now there's a lot I can do with this. I could thread this and maybe hang them. I can attach it, like if I wanted to make another one, to another side, and then I would probably melt that or put wax in between it. Let's take, where's the other one? Let's take this one off. But what I'm probably going to do is use it on a painting so I have some dimension. And I'm debating if I'm going to, and I think about, one of the things I think about when I'm painting is transporting, shipping, and when things hang. I have had so many times to do repair work, or another encaustic artist, they know I'm in Florida, to say, hey AJ, somebody moved, or I did a painting and can you repair it? So I have, see, that one was fairly easy to get off. So, can you repair that? Now I got my sheet. So let's pretend that this was a panel and I'd want to adhere this. So I could just heat that up and stick it onto my panel. Looks like a boob. But let's say I'm concerned about, there's not a lot of support in here. So if I'm going to put it on a panel, my biggest concern is somebody's going to hang it and they're going to knock into this. It can happen. So what I probably may do is reinforce it with some paper inside. And that way I have a more support. So if I heat this up, I don't have a panel nearby, and I put my paper underneath, And I would probably go in with a little bit of my torch and secure that edge. And then I'd probably paint over, and I can have some really nice texture either on like a sculptural piece or a flat panel. This one's actually on pretty good, but I would still secure it because it's uneven. But you see, that's a way of getting, oh, there, I got it off. But I would definitely reinforce the inside. Now, I may want to decide, let me take a smaller piece, that I don't want to attach it this way. I want to attach it this way. You know, so you can't glue things down. But there you have it. So now I'd probably heat both entities, and then I would lightly fuse in there and melt that in. If it was a sculptural piece, I may even put in maybe a toothpick in there and then clip it off and then cover it with some wax so it have some structure in there. You know, I would probably or even like a hat pin that has like a T-top, and it would secure it in there, and I can cover it up with wax. You see, there are a lot of things that you can do with that. But once again, this one, it needs, you know, a couple more coats, and you may want to make a few at a time because it does take time for this to cool down, and it's better to give it the space. And if you hold that in for too long, this balloon is going to expand. So let's say I did want to make a bigger piece. I would have to dip it really quick, let it cool down. What I was doing, I was going like this into my pot, and I was just creating more and more heat and more expansion, and my balloon popped. A few other tips when you melt this: you can't put a lot in here. When you put your balloon or whatever piece it is in here, you have displacement. You know, plus this is a lot of wax in here because I was planning on making a whole bunch of these, and that takes a really long time to melt down. But just another option of how to, you know, make all of these shapes and fun things that you can do, like attach them, you know, maybe something sculptural. You know, there are unlimited things that you can do with the wax. You know what the worst thing is? If I really don't like this, I could just melt it back down. So that's all there is for today. I think the next video, maybe I may switch to a little cold wax with the RNF pigment stick. Somebody was asking me, so don't hesitate to ask me a question about wax. I'll gladly make a demonstration video. Please subscribe for more vibes. You can follow me on Instagram at The Wax Painter as well. And thank you for watching. And remember, wax on.